Okay. What is the main focus of SMILE?
So SMILE was established to uplift people from poverty. So there are a lot of agencies that like provide services, and we also provide services, but we want our services not just to like help people temporarily, but eventually like lift them from poverty and help them like move forward in their lives and be able to focus on their future and their children's futures.
Okay, so why did you choose this specific area to be located in?
Passaic?
Yes.
Or Passaic County or
Passaic.
Passaic City?
Yeah.
So Passaic, we are right on the bus line. We're very close to like a lot of different areas that have like populations that are underserved. So Passaic is a very underserved area. There's a large population like throughout Patterson, Passaic that are undocumented and might not be able to get services from other areas. So that's a few of the reasons.
Okay, now online I saw that there were other programs that SMILE has other than the diapers and the food pantry.
Mhm.
Can you talk more about those?
Sure. So one of our programs is case management. So after we started our food pantry, like people were coming for food a lot, and we recognized that like if people are coming for food, there's a much deeper issue. Like they're not just hungry. They're probably a lot of other things. They're probably need diapers. They probably don't have like they're unemployed or underemployed. They, there are a lot of other issues. There are mental health issues. There's so many other issues that like lead to poverty, and people aren't just hungry. They need advocacy. They need other services. So we established our case management program. So our social worker meets with clients like daily. Most of our clients have very complex long-term issues. Many of our clients are undocumented. Many of our clients are refugees, single mothers, victims of domestic violence. So, and other immigrants and kind of like the most vulnerable members of society. So our case manager works with them, advocates for them, helps them like address a lot of those other issues that might be factoring into their situations. And then we have a refugee services program. So we recognize that there were a lot of like cracks into which the refugee population were falling into. So like a year down the line, many refugees were coming and had eviction notices. They didn't speak English, they didn't have jobs, and they were being evicted. So during that year, something was happening. And they weren't getting the services that they needed. Either they weren't available or the clients weren't accessing them. So we kind of used the refugee resettlement agencies and other agencies that were serving refugees to build our program. So we just kind of like found the cracks that people were falling into, and we built our program based on that. So am I taking too long?
No.
So one of them was like language. There was just like a serious issue with them accessing appropriate ESL resources and language resources. So we started our own ESL program for them. One of them was that they didn't understand the benefits system. So we worked really hard to get them to like know your rights programs. So we would have attorneys come and talk to them about what benefits they're eligible for and what they should try to move away from. Like, people shouldn't be like getting rental assistance long term, right? People should have it for just the time that they need it, and then they should be able to move on from that. How do they transition from being completely dependent on like a welfare system to, kind of being self-sufficient? We had other know your rights programs. Like a lot of our clients were scared of being stopped by ICE, or even though they were refugees, they were here legally, they were still really scared. So another thing was that we had like cultural brokers. So a lot of our clients were from a few specific countries, and people who were talking to them about like the way that life is here in New Jersey were not from those same countries. They couldn't really relate. So they weren't like connecting on what issues mattered to those people. So one of the things that was happening was that like some people came from like villages and they were like very segregated, and then they were going to school and they were saying, you know, like my 16-year-old daughter is going to a boys' house to do a group project and I don't want her like with boys, you know. And that's not something that like everybody would understand, right? But somebody from the same country might understand and say like, look, in America, like girls and boys, they work together in school a lot. It doesn't mean that they're going to have a relationship, you know.
Yeah.
So like we had to kind of address some of these things that were causing issues with the refugees. I think I covered everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was long.
Definitely more.
So, do you only deal with people in Passaic County, or there's people who come from all over
Yeah,
New
so
Jersey?
people come from all over. We even have like clients who come from New York, Pennsylvania. So
That's
Okay.
You want me to stop it?
One more question. I know you guys deal with a lot of refugees. So I know that Passaic County in general has a large population of Hispanics. Do you get a lot of them in here too?
So we serve a lot of Spanish-speaking clients, specifically in our food pantry or diaper pantry. Unfortunately, because our case manager doesn't speak Spanish, it's difficult to kind of like provide that population with what they need. So usually we refer them out to someone who can kind of like work with them in their own language. But like we definitely see a lot of Spanish speaking clients for our food pantry, our diaper pantry.
So you will get people to be sent here, and then you will transfer them to another Hispanic population.
So if they come for case management, we usually try to like send them to a place where like they can speak their own language.
Right.
Because of the nature of case management, it like a lot of the cases are really complex. Like there's sometimes issues of like domestic violence, or you know, there are a lot of like complex issues that are really difficult to articulate in you know, broken English,
I guess.
or you know,
Yeah.
broken Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And if people wanted to like donate like here, like what they just have to come here and drop off stuff, like all those cans and like clothes you guys just get it randomly, or is
Yeah, sometimes. So we try not to take any used clothing because our landlord doesn't allow us to. Sometimes people will just throw it in front of our door, so we have to deal with it.
oh wow.
But we do like, we take like food donations, non-perishable food donations. Cash is always good.
Right.
People can donate money online on our website, SMILEforCHARITY.org. People can donate other things as well, like cars. A lot of our clients, like, they commute like over 2 hours each way to work, and they work at minimum wage jobs. Like we have one client who commutes to upstate New York on a bus from Patterson every day. And she works like from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., but she can't get a ride home until 2 p.m. So she's there from 7 p.m. until 2 p.m. She comes home, she sleeps, and then she leaves for work again because the commute is so long. So like if somebody has a car that's like, you know, like just needs like really basic repairs and they're gonna buy a new car or something, like that car will change somebody's life.
Right.
You know, it'll change one of our clients' lives. We also do corporate matching, so people who work at large employers like Johnson & Johnson or like Merck or, you know, Bank of America or something like that. A lot of these employers will match donations. So if you work there and you donate $1,000, your company will also donate $1,000.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you.
We appreciate your help.